Morning, folks. Thanks for joining our Zoom this morning with Tyler Warren. As always, if you guys would use the raise hand function in the Zoom room, we'll get to questions for Tyler. Go ahead, Tyler Donahue.
Thank you. Good morning, Tyler. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. We heard from James Franklin yesterday and saying that Nick Singleton is working his way back toward 100%, probably the most healthy he's been in some time. We're seeing that on the field. Drew just spoke about that on our last Zoom call. I'm hoping you would too. When Nick is operating at a higher level, close to where he can be in terms of a ceiling, what does that do overall for this offense?
Yeah, I think it helps us out a lot, obviously. I think, people think of him running the ball, but I think what he's done, pretty good in the past few games, especially is his receiving out of the backfield has been a big thing for us, and that can make a big difference within the offense. Just another thing that they have to be prepared for and acknowledge that he can do. So I think, that's something he's really started doing really well in these past few games, and keep building on that will be important for our offense.
Seth Engel.
Tyler, we just talked to Drew, and he brought up a memory on his recruiting visit. He played you, Olu, and Nick Dawkins in a pickup basketball game, and he said you were dunking on recruits. What do you remember about that memory? Who did you dunk on? Yeah, I guess you could just.
I don't have a specific name for you on who I did. I know when the younger tight ends were here, like Andrew Rappelier and Joey, I did block a few of their shots. They were trying to dunk on me, but yeah, we used to, in the summer there's not really much going on, so they'll take the recruits, to a basketball court or something sometimes, and I don't do it anymore though. I'm getting too old to be playing basketball like that, but yeah, I used to do that. That was fun. But yeah, I hosted Drew on his visit too, so that's always cool to kind of think about, to be playing with him and stuff like that. But yeah.
Rich Garcella.
Good morning, Tyler, and thanks much for doing this. What does senior day mean to you, and can you describe the relationships that you've made with the guys in your class?
Yeah, I think, obviously there's special relationships all over the team, and then, the guys who you came in with is always going to, be close, and you're going to experience kind of the same steps of being a college football player together, like when you first get here, and then obviously doing your senior night, like you said. So it's a fun day, but also can be a little sad. But I don't think, you're really going to look at it as that. It's more just like to enjoy it one last time, and understand that you only have a certain, amount of games you get to play with these guys. So really enjoying it is kind of the biggest thing for me, and making sure I, don't look past it, or don't skip any of the moments that we get out there together.
Daniel Gowan.
Tyler, when we talked to Drew, he said that he's always been emotional and a fiery competitor. We're just seeing it a little bit more this year publicly. When did you first see that from him behind the scenes? Like how early were you seeing what we're seeing right now?
I mean, I think it kind of just started as soon as he got on campus. Then when you get into the like actual football stuff, so for him it was spring football because he came in the winter. But yeah, I think, as soon as he got here, people kind of saw his competitive nature, and how he works, and what he's about, as a football player. And I think, they responded well to that. It got the defense fired up in practices, and the offense is obviously going to rally around him. So I think it's been really good for us. And but yeah, like you said, he's got a lot of fire, and and he plays with it. So that's something, we can get behind as offense.
Neil Rudell.
Thank you. Uh, Tyler, I think I asked you 2 or 3 weeks ago about some of the tight ends that you look up to when you first got there, and I think you mentioned Fryermuth. I'm kind of curious. Did you know some of the older guys, Brady, or some of the better tight ends, and have you gotten to know those guys, and how do you sort of feel about your place in Penn State history among tight ends?
Yeah, I think I didn't know too much about Penn State really until I got here. Obviously, I knew Pat and Brent and all of them because I played with them, and then I knew about like Mike Gesicki, but learning about Kyle Brady and kind of some of the older guys from then was cool to kind of see the legacy that Penn State tight ends have always had. So So I'd say, learning about them now since I've been here, I kind of, been able to appreciate, what Penn State tight end, what it means to play tight end at Penn State. So that's been fun, and I'm glad I've had the opportunity to come in and play tight end at a place like Penn State.
Johnny McGonigal.
Tyler, thanks for your time. As always, much appreciated. You mentioned hosting Drew on his visit, and I'm curious, as an older guy, as a guy who has a year or two on those 2022 signees, Drew and Nick, Abdul, the list goes on. What's it been like watching that recruiting class go from early contributors as freshmen to leaders on this team now this season?
Yeah, I think obviously their production in that class has been really impressive, and it was a great class. But something I kind of always notice is how a lot of those guys have kind of been the same people since they stepped on campus. That hadn't changed since maybe they have a bigger role or more well-known players kind of in the public. They're still the same people and treat everybody the same with respect. And that's something I really appreciate as a teammate and somebody who appreciates that. So that's kind of been the really cool thing to see from those guys as they've kind of grown with what they've done on the football field, is staying the same people that they were when they stepped on campus.
Next, Ralph.
Tyler, when you get a chance, now that you've gotten a chance to look back at the film of Minnesota, what do you think that second half, fourth quarter comeback says about your team, and how does it position you for this final week of the regular season and what could come beyond?
Yeah, I think, obviously games in November are gonna mean more as you get closer to the end of the season and the stakes keep getting higher. But I think that just kind of set the tone for, finding a way to win in November is we'll take it any way you can, and to come out of that place with a win versus a great Minnesota team and a tough place to play was really important for us, and to just kind of keep building on that and the confidence we've gotten and a little bit of a, keep it rolling here now. But yeah, it was a great win at a great point in the season.
Andrew Clay.
Hey Tyler, you came in when you signed with Penn State in like December of 2019. The world was very normal, but your entire collegiate career has been anything but the usual. You came in 2020, NIL, everything's kind of exploded. The game has completely changed. How do you reflect on what things have looked like for you and your experience over the last 5 years?
Yeah, I guess for me, it is probably weird from the outside, but it's kind of the only college experience I knew because that's just what it was the whole time I've been here. So I guess I don't really have a comparative answer for that, but I mean, it has, there's been a lot of new things to kind of deal with, but it's kind of new for everybody, so it wasn't something where we like kind of felt weird or unfair or anything like that. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride, but there's a lot of cool opportunities that have come from this, and I wouldn't change how my experience has gone, and it's been fun doing it with my teammates.
Tyler Donahue.
Tyler, we're obviously going to see a lot more of Nolan Rucci at offensive tackle moving forward. What has he done through the first, 11 games of this season and all the work he put in on the practice field before to give you guys confidence that despite losing Anthony, you're going to be in good shape with him manning the right tackle position?
Yeah, I think, he's obviously done a great job in practice and stuff like that, but he's also played in pretty much every game that I know of and played, meaningful reps throughout the season. So I don't think it's anything that's new for him or for us as an offense. And we trust him. We know what he's capable of, and he's a great tackle. So I think, him being able to have that experience he's had so far this season and now to step in that role will be, not be hard for him, and it's something he's been doing all year. So I don't think we trust him as an offense.
Seth Engel.
Tyler, I was hoping you could take us back to that last play, before you guys snap the ball when, you could potentially, if you score, break a record. But if you go down, you win the game. What was going through your head through that? Is it hard not to reach the end zone?
No, I mean, I think we all knew the situation, and we knew that our, weren't supposed to score. It was get the first down and go down because they would have been out of timeouts anyway. So that's something we've worked in practice, and we drilled it so many times. That was kind of the first time, we've got to actually do it and execute it in a game like that. So that was just kind of, another thing that just came along in the game and something we drilled all the time. So it wasn't really something I was thinking about consciously during the play. It was just kind of reacting and trusting our training.
Rich Scarcella.
Tyler, do you plan to spend Thanksgiving, and what are you most thankful for?
So my family will be up here, and so I'll get to spend it with them, and then obviously I'll be with my teammates. We have like a dinner on Wednesday with the team and stuff like that, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I'm thankful to be able to come in and play at Penn State and go to school at Penn State at a great place like this that's gonna not only help me when in my life right now, but kind of down the road. So just to be around all these people that help us out and to be a part of a program like this is something, I really enjoy and happy I can do this.
Neil Rudell.
Tyler, has this year exceeded your expectations when you decided to come back? And real quick, I noticed your glasses. Do you wear contact lenses when you play?
Yeah, I do. But I wouldn't say that's something I was really kind of thinking about going into the season or as it's gone. I'm more just, focused on what the offense is doing and you know, make sure we're winning games, and I think we've done a good job of that. So from that standpoint, I've been happy, and I think we're doing a good job as a team and staying on the track that we need to be on. So that's kind of was my focus coming into the season. I wouldn't say I really had certain expectations or goals about myself, more just focused on the offense and the team in general.
All right, folks, we got time for two more questions for Tyler. We'll go Daniel Gallen and then Max Ralph. Go ahead, Daniel.
Tyler, you got here in 2020, and through those first 2 years, there were a lot of struggles. Over these past 3 years, where you guys have won 10 games every single year, what has that been like to see that growth from where you were in 2020 and 2021 to now, and what do you think played into that?
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's been great, but I think it's kind of just played into Coach Franklin and trusting his process and he's a guy that's done it before and knows how to win and stuff like that. So trusting him and then kind of just keeping the culture and the team building going each year because some guys are gonna leave, some new guys are gonna come in. So making sure we're holding up the standard as guys that have done it before and know how this team works. So I think that's been something that's been really fun to be a part of and kind of hold up the standard as we keep going.
Last question, Max Ralph.
Hey Tyler, thanks again for the time. I want to ask about the official visit with Drew one more time. What do you remember about him and his personality from that time, and how much he's grown to today, where we are seeing all that emotion from him that we've talked about a lot?
Yeah, I think he was somewhat similar to me, kind of. I'm probably a little more quiet than he was, but he was kind of a quiet kid that was kind of just kind of unsuspecting. He didn't really seem like, he just seemed like a normal guy. And then you see him go out on the field and do what he does, and kind of his competitive nature comes out. So it's cool to see that. But that was kind of cool, hosting him. We're kind of similar and kind of related on certain things like that. So that was cool to see.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, folks.